All right, we're ready. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, my name is Ross Capicchioni. I'm from Macomb, Michigan, suburb outside of Detroit.
Start with your story of
How it happened?
Yeah.
Well, it happened like I was a junior in high school, 17-year-old punk shit. Just doing my thing, skating, hanging out.
What I mean is basically there's no...
This kid supposedly was supposed to be my friend, and I knew this kid for 10 years prior before this day. He asked me, hey, can you give me a ride to my cousin's house, down in the D? All right, yeah, well, like what part? Like the west side or the east side? And he's like, the east side. And I was like, nah, man, I don't got no business on the east side, He's like, no, it's cool, man. Like the east side, that's like 7 Mile, like, it's like a third world country. The police, they won't stop and get out the car. They won't pull you over. If there's gunshots, they'll wait till everything's clear and they'll come pick your body up off the street and that's it. He's like, please, man, please. I'm like, no. So like a week goes by, I'm still telling him no, because I had a feeling, don't go down there. Kept asking me, I'll give you 30 bucks for gas, all this shit. I'm like, all right, whatever, you're my friend. I'll take you down there. I go to school that day, and I get out, and everything seems normal. We go to the gas station, he gives me the money for gas. We drive down there. So I get off, and it's just like, I get that eerie feeling like you're in a bad spot. When it's like broad daylight out, beautiful day like today. And we're driving, and he's telling me where to go, and we pull out on the street, and there's people outside, and he's like, all right, that's the house right there. So he's like, pull around back in the back. Like when I turned the corner to go right, like I seen it was like caution, like do not enter and all this shit, but I still, because I knew him for so long, I just thought, it's the D, it's, whatever. There was a fence, like a grass area, my vehicle, and then houses right there. So it was like, I wasn't in the middle of nowhere or anything. And like I get out, and he gets out, and it's only a couple seconds, I'm looking around. My ears are ringing, I'm like, man, that was close. And I kind of just glanced down, and my arm's just hanging off like a zombie. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, yeah, this is, it's not real. And I kind of shake it off and look again, and it's just hanging off my arm. And I'm like, okay, then it kicks in, like blood, like flowing, like an animal. And then I look up, and this kid's just holding a shotgun, like 10 feet away from me, just holding it right at me. And I asked him, I said, did you shoot me? And he just blew a hole in my chest like this big. So after that, I just dropped to my knees. I lost all my air, I couldn't see. I remember being on my on my hands and knees, and I felt the barrel of the gun on my head. I felt this barrel just shaking still on my head, and so I smacked it away. But it was a shotgun, so it sprayed. So it still hit me in the head really good, but it didn't blow my head off like a watermelon just to pieces. So after that, I got a little sight, and I was like, okay, I'm still moving. I don't know what's going on with my head, but I know I'm alive. And I remember I looked up, and he was just staring at me. And he took the butt of the gun and smashed me in the face with it. Knocks my teeth out. I fall back, but I could still see at this point, and I don't understand how I can see because I have so much damage to my lung and heart. I felt like these hands in my pocket digging for my car keys. When he's trying to grab my keys, I ended up on my stomach. And I look up and I see my Jeep Commander driving away, just driving away, flying away. And I said, okay, well, either I stay laid down in this spot right here and die, or I try to get up. So I try to push myself up, but take my left arm, take it right out. So gunshot to the chest, bigger than a soup bowl, and then my head all mashed up. And I'm trying to push myself off the ground. Kept trying, and I'm like, all right, you know what, one more. I'm gonna try it one more time. And I pushed up, and then out of nowhere, I felt these arms from underneath me pick me up. And I remember swinging, trying to grab someone, and there was no one around. And I was just standing up still like a drunk zombie, just and I got this like a shove, someone shoved me from behind to go forward. I must have got about 7-8 feet. I just fell straight down. Because I remember I hit the ground on my stomach. I'm like, all right, well, I went as far as I could. This shit's hurting too much. Let me just close my eyes and start relaxing. Sure enough, I closed my eyes and all the pain started going away. And then I'd wake up real fast and be like, this is not right. I just got shot 30 seconds ago. How's the pain stopping? And I'd be like, don't worry about it. Go back to sleep. That's a good feeling when you're sleeping. So I'd pass back out a little bit, and then I'd be like dying. And then I'd wake myself up, like my own voice, third person, and hey man, get up man, you're dying. And then like I did that, and then I heard, hey, hey, and I like started hearing this guy, and he's like running over to me. So when I fell, there was like a probation officer at a stoplight, and he seen me fall out of the woods, like all bloody broad daylight. Then I felt his hand on my back, like, hey man, you're fine, don't close your eyes, you know, come on, the ambulance is coming, they're coming. And I'm like, man, like I just want to sleep, leave me alone, man. But then in my head, I'm like, no, you don't, because if you fall asleep, you're sleeping forever. And I remember like getting on the stretcher, and they're putting me in the stretcher, and just like the facial expression of the paramedic was just like, just a stunned look on his face, but in the same time telling me I looked great. I looked beautiful, like you're gonna be fine. And then it just like blacked out, and I went to like I was outside of the ambulance on my skateboard, filming it, like rolling telephoto filming of the ambulance, and the doors open, everyone's panicking, and I see my legs coming out, and like once it gets to my head, blacked out. I was pronounced dead on arrival right there. John Doe had nothing on me. They said, you know, doc, this kid's, you know, gone, and doc said no. You know, I'm here, let me try. Like when I was pronounced dead on arrival, like throw him in the body bag, he's dead. Like the doctor said no, like, you know, I'm gonna try to help him. This man doesn't know who I am. He could have said, yeah, he's dead, all right, I'm going back home. He said no, like I feel something, I'm gonna try. Did the heart surgery, gave me 24 hours to, you know, see if I was still breathing on the ventilator. After 24 hours, I was still alive. They fixed my arm and my head, and I woke up 3 days later. I remember like waking up, and it was still all white, like white everywhere, and I'm like, damn, dead. I'm 17, I'm dead. And then it starts to like come in, and it's like I see curtains, like a freaking oxygen tank, and I'm like starting, and then out of nowhere, bam, perfect vision again. I'm in a hospital, and then I'm like tied down to the bed because I got the breathing tube in me. I got this thing pumping air into my lungs, so I start freaking out. There was a nurse there the whole time though. I didn't even notice her because I was all tied down, and I just hear screaming like, he's awake, he's awake. And I see her like running out of the room, and then like running back, like 3 more nurses and the doctor, just this woman just coming around the corner, flying, like throws her clipboard in the air, runs up to me, oh my God, you look beautiful. Like, and in my head, I'm like, what do you mean? I look beautiful. I can't even, what's going on? Like, am I tied down? And then she's like, all right, 1, 2, and like on 2, she pulled that thing out of my throat, man. I got to breathe again, like real air, like, and, you know, of course I coughed up a ball of tar and BBs, but everyone was just looking at me like, you're alive, like you're breathing on your own right now. Like, what's your name? I don't know. What year is it? What? Who's the president? Huh? Is there any way we could contact anyone you know with a phone number? I was like 2-7. Out of anything, my name, anything, the year, only thing I remembered after that was my father's phone number. For 3 days, my family didn't know. My father was outside, like spraying out the garage, and he got the phone call from the hospital saying, I think we got your son, he's been shot, but he's alive. So, I don't know how my parents had it. I don't know how that feels, like you're a father. Like, so, I don't know, it chokes me up because like, it's crazy, but they came down there, and I remember like I seen my mom come in and my dad, and I'm looking at him, I was like, Mom, you can't get mad at me right now. She's like, mad? You're alive, you're alive. After like the 4th day, they were like, all right, get up, you know, start walking, like, let's go. I'm like, let's go where? He's like, you're going home tomorrow. I'm like, it's been 5 days. He's like, dude, you're going home. What do you want to live in a hospital? You want to go live your life again? I'm like, sir, I got a hole in my chest the size of a teacup. He's like, listen, Ross, I gave you a tip of advice. You live through this, you're gonna be okay. Just go home, live your life, don't hang out with these kids anymore. After 5 days, they sent me home. So like, I'm shot, you know? My parents are asking me questions. My dad's asking me, what are we gonna do about it? And I'm like telling him, like, Dad, I know who did it, you know? The next day, like, out of a movie, like, these men in suits came in. And my dad's like, yeah, can I help you? And they pull out their, badges and FBI, They say the kid's name. And I'm like, yeah, I know him, that's who shot me. He's like, oh, could you identify him through a picture? I was like, of course. Pull out a picture of the kid. I said, that's him right there. He said, Ross, we have him in custody. I said, how? I just woke up like 2 days ago. I just learned my name again, like how to talk. He's like, the day blank shot you, he called blank and told him. So this kid shoots me and calls his buddy and says, hey, I shot Ross, he's dead. The kid's like, no, you didn't, you're lying. Because imagine another 15-year-old kid saying to a 15-year-old kid, So after they hang up, the kid he told calls the police on him. And he was met by SWAT team right at his front yard. Got him. And all I had to do was go to court and testify against him. I went in there, man, in a wheelchair, head still stapled, no teeth, 105 pounds because of all the blood I lost, arm cast, and I sat in front of 40 of his family and him, and he couldn't look me in the eye. He had his head down the whole time, and I had to tell my story like this to everyone. That was the first one. I had to go back to final sentencing, and that's when I was healed. So I walked back in the courtroom the second time. He comes out in a purple suit, top hat, cane, and sunglasses. This is the kid who shot me at court, smiling. While his family cheers him on, says, way to shoot Ross, called me a coward because I was taking the justice route. I didn't lower myself to his standards and go try to kill him. I spoke and the judge looked at this kid and said, said his name, and he said, yo, Ross, thank you. And the kid just looked at the judge like, what do you mean? He's like, because if you would have killed Ross that day, you would have got life in prison. But since Ross was a warrior and survived, you get a second chance, and he just slammed the gavel on him. He said, go have fun in prison for 35 years. Well, I found out that the cause of the shooting was because he had to join a gang. That was his initiation, was kill a random person. He had to pick someone, so he just thought I would be the guy to pick. Yeah, that happened in 2007. Been about 4 years. And I'm telling you, the first two were the hardest. It gets hard, waking up and knowing someone tried to shoot you down. You got to get through that every day. Seeing people. I get on a bus, public bus, I'm freaking out the whole time. I don't trust anyone on the bus. For a while, my mother had to take care of me as like how you do an infant, washing, changing, feeding. I'm 17 years old and I got my mom bathing me. I can't move, I got no hand, I can't talk. I'm all weak. And my dad and mom were like, Ross, come on, the doctors say, give it time. And then all my friends coming to see me, hanging out with me. Started getting more positive. One day I woke up and I felt different. I was like, you know what, this is my world. That's what every time in physical therapy, I would try to do something, mess up, I'd be like, well, it's like a nollie backside flip. You're gonna mess up until you try it and land it. When I'd mess up, I'd be like, nollie backside flip, and then I'd get it. I'd do something with my hand and put the thing in, and the doctor would be like, oh yeah, good job, you did it. And I'd be like, So I started living my life as skateboarding. It's been working. I'm very blessed. I see it now. When before I'm you know what, I'm so unlucky. I went through all this getting shot, and really I look at it now after maturing and growing up. It just gave me a whole new leg up on life and how I can live my life, and it's crazy. It's makes me happy to be alive, and just so grateful for everything. I just look at what I got. I don't look at what I don't have. Look at what I have.